Hi everyone, it's Ayesha here from God FM. I hope you're all keeping well. Praise the Lord. I've been out of action. I had food poisoning. Never guess where that came from, hey? Be from the child-eating, blood-drinking, psychopath, interbred, pedophiles do home invasions. I honestly thought I was going to die. I've never been so unwell. Anyway, I'm still not quite right, but I am getting there. But now that I'm back, I want to look at the Epstein files. You know, the Epstein files includes all of the targeting programs with all the leaders of the world, don't you? So if you're a targeted individual, the Epstein files and the Epstein Island, it's all about cloning people. This is the big reveal for you today, by the way. I'm going to draw the full picture so you have a full understanding of what I know. Okay. Okay, so all of the hotels in Antalya, in Turkey, have got deep underground tunnels and bases. It's a trafficking hub for human trafficking, sex slaves, and for children as well, buying and selling of children and adrenochrome drugs. And obviously there's all the other things that go with this, but they have got submarines that connect underneath all of the hotels, and they also have tunnels in every town of every place of the whole earth too, just like I've been talking about Antalya. They have the same tunnels deep underground that all connect to the ocean. And this is how they transport and move people around. They have transport under the water in the tunnels. So if you've ever been in the tunnel between England and France, you'll know there's a tunnel that goes underneath the sea. So there's lots and lots of those tunnels everywhere. How does this all work? I'll try and draw a picture for you. The world leaders are all fallen angels. And the people in power, okay, so the devil runs the world, okay, and then the fallen angels are reproducing and coming back again and again. If you want to be famous, then you have to sell your soul. When you sell your soul, your body actually dies. Let me explain it to you. When God said to Adam and Eve, if you eat from this tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you shall surely die. Do you think he was lying? Or did they die? Did they die? Did you read about them dying? Let me tell you what happened. They came to earth. By coming into this physical reality, we die. This is why it's all about the trees. In the old days, we had really big trees at the times of Noah. And we'd live 1,000 years until we cut all the trees down and we had a flood. So it's the same system that is running now. They've cut down the trees at a lower level. So the big trees keep us alive. They build all the stadiums on top of tree trunks, massive tree trunks. And then they torture the earth by doing football and things like this. Everything is inverted. When you sell your soul, you sell your blood. You sell your soul. Yeah? And you cease to be alive because your life is in your blood. your soul is in your blood. So you're made as a body and a spirit and a soul. Okay. Now the spirit comes through God if you're reborn in Christ. But if you're not reborn in Christ, then we are legion will take occupancy. It's really simple. Okay. All right then. So, once you've sold your soul, because you have no life in your blood anymore, because you've sold it, you start losing life and you start decaying. And so then you have to start eating and drinking children and people to maintain your youth and your facial and better appearances, if you like. And so the leaders of the world have all done the same deal to maintain their youth, to fight death, because when they die, they're going to face judgment with the Lord. The fallen angels, they think they're really clever because they've mastered it, you see, because they can reincarnate themselves through cloned bodies. So this is why there is a massive trafficking of people and children and babies. And this is why they have parties to drink and eat children and people. The EPSTEIN Island is a laboratory. It's also much the same as what happens to targeted individuals. So let me explain myself. In the EPSTEIN Island, what they have is modified water, modified air, and it's a gassing, and it's a poisoning of the water, if you like. It's inducing and putting in graphene, which is then activated through lights and sound to induce the Havana syndrome. But also the aliens, which are demons, work closely with the devil and all the world leaders, and they also feast on the blood and the flesh of innocent people and children and babies. So when people decide to have a baby, that's great. But when it's an accident and they decide to have an abortion, that child is sacrificed to the devil. And the child sacrifice is the most powerful to feed the demonic realm, demons, and all of those things. They really feed on the blood and the flesh of children and babies. So there's now a mass production of babies to order that are dead. Well, actually, they're not dead. They don't want them dead. When they take them out of the mother, they actually want them alive so that they can torture the child, the baby, the fetus, because it creates a type of strong blood that feeds them and makes them even more youthful than just normal blood. So the trauma that's associated with the death creates adrenochrome. And adrenochrome is big business. It's like drugs. So in the drugs world, you've got cannabis, and then you've got the pills and crack and cocaine, and I don't know, because I don't do drugs, but apparently it's a slippery slope. If you start taking one, then you start taking all the others. Have you noticed that all the celebrities get hooked on drugs? How can they get hooked on drugs? Well, because they're offered drugs. When you've got someone you want to put into prostitution, one of the first things they do is they will tie her up and have her raped by loads of strange men. But first of all, they get her completely drugged up so she doesn't know her ass from her elbow. And then she'll be so out of it that she won't know what's happening to her. And so this is what it's all about. Now, you can gas someone, and they can also become disorientated. You can also gas someone so they become so unwell. Remember what I was saying about the trees? You're right. Okay, so the trees, the bigger the trees, the longer you live. If you cut all the trees down, you're not going to live very long. And if you contaminate the oxygen that you're breathing of the little trees that are left, then, I mean, these are little trees because they took all the big ones away, then you really are going to struggle to live past 50, really. They've done everything they can to shorten your length of life, and then they also farm people. They take people and they take children to order. You need to hear the bare facts of it. If they see the photos in the school photograph albums, that's a nice pretty girl. Oh, she's got parents, has she? They're together. Okay. Send a honeypot in and make sure that relationship is destroyed. Make sure that the mother is a single mother. And then send in another honeypot to distract the mother whilst we groom the little girl. Or better still, let's show the mother to be unfit and have the child taken off her mother. And we can sell that child to the highest bidder. The other thing is, these famous celebrities are in most cases reincarnated. So they've got both bits and pieces. Genitalia. Because the fallen angels have got both bits and pieces. Like the devil. I think. So when this happens, this is very confusing for us. But it's not confusing for them because it's quite normal for them to have both bits and pieces. That's why Obama and his wife, Obama's wife wasn't a wife, it was a man. Michael. Not Michelle. Madonna is a man and Michael Jackson is a man. Michael Jackson attended the EPSTEIN file parties, by the way. All of the famous people went to these parties. Did you ever watch that film, The Island? In The Island, famous people would have clones of themselves made, just in case they needed a replacement body. So in this world of celebrities and fame, they get the opportunity to buy a replacement body, a sleeve. And they download the consciousness from their mind and they put it into another body. But they will lose their soul because it's only a digital version of them. And then it's like a plastic version of themselves. But the sleeve, you see, won't decay in the same way because it's plastic. So, but cloning and all of this does exist. And they can grow people in a week and have a whole grown person in a week, you know. It's just crazy, the technology, okay. But the EPSTEIN files is related to targeted individuals because they become so prolific and so prominent in their actions at a world scale, world level, for all of their crimes, for eating and drinking children's blood, hunting parties, and literally hunting parties with people, not foxes. They really do feel quite confident to come out in the open. And because the central governments and the businesses all operate at the same generic spiel, which is, if you want to make it, you need to do a deal with us, which is the Masons, and bath in blood. But at the lower levels, you're not really sure about what you're getting involved in. Okay, I know that. But once you're involved in it, then you have the protection of the Masonic Lodge, and they make sure that you get all the jobs, and you get all the big positions, the high-paid roles. And in this way, they also force out little small local businesses that they don't like. They don't like women. They really don't like women. And it's the Masons that have done a deal with the drug cartel. Really. Yeah, it is like the mafia films, okay? So, you know, in the mafia films, it's always the Italian gangsters, right? And they're buying and selling drugs, and they're making loads of money, and they're killing each other and all the other stuff, right? Well, it's the same. It literally is the same in the open world, but it's much more hidden. So the way they do things is, oh, so-and-so's pissed you off, has they? Oh, all right. We'll put them on that list. Yeah, that list. We'll make sure that their lives become a living horror show. What list is that? Oh, it's the targeted individual list. But to be fair, most of us who are targeted individuals have been targeted all our lives. But really, the punishment side and the real sort of terror and the horror, the stuff like Hostel Film and Saw and Chainsaw Massacre or The Hills of Eyes, which is what I've seen, only really happens to you really when you start talking about the truth. But it is the same techniques, the same stuff, because they've already experimented on people at places like the Epstein Island, where they would gang rape women. They'd have queues and queues and queues of people waiting to rape a lady over and over all day and all night long. Disgusting. And it's a bit like Einstein, you know, Frankenstein, a combined effort where they've combined electricity with biology. And wireless electricity does exist, and they've been using this to torture people. They use it in the Masonic lodges, and they use it on the Epstein Islands, and when they have victims, they breed the babies. They do breed the babies to eat them as a meal, but also to torture and drink the blood. And they put the meat back into the food chain. I don't know what food we're eating. But most of our meat, I wouldn't be surprised if it's got humans inside. So the technology under the ground is more advanced than the technology on top of the ground. Just to give you an idea of what we're dealing with. And what do they do to you to make you unwell? All right, I'll tell you. So, when you die, you get worms. And this is your way of your body decaying. The first thing that happens when you decay is you get worms. But what happens if you give someone worms while they're still alive? They would die. That's what they're doing. They've removed salt, and they've basically put parasites in everything. But they're not just normal parasites. These are clever parasites, which construct their own network around your body. And they connect with the lights and the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi and everything else. And you, if you're a targeted individual, through the gassing and they're pumping your house full of nano. You're breathing it in. It's crawling up your privates when you go to the toilet. You're drinking it and eating it. So it's going to take effect inside you. And then they've got all their aerials, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and all the rest of it. And it's a type of poisoning, like I was saying about the trees. And it's big business. Big, big business. Where they will hunt people for fun. Where they will openly do this. And because they've got so much power and money, they'll pay off any neighbor. And now, if you're in England, you'll know that they've paid off our leaders of this country, England. Because we've got an invasion that's taken place. The way they've done it, it's an invasion without being an invasion. It's like a deal was done that these guys were permitted, in fact invited, and paid to come here. And they've taken everything. You may not have seen it yet, but it's happened. Because these people are receiving £4,000 a month in benefits and houses, when English people who've worked all their lives lose their jobs, can't get any help, and end up homeless. So this is wrong, isn't it? So we know this is wrong, but this is what is happening across the world. It's happening in America, slightly different set of scenarios. But basically, England's become like a third world country. If you want an idea of what's happening, just look at England. And the little British ladies, British girls, are being raped by foreign people. They're all hired by the same guys. And these people are very good at hacking and also doing picking of locks and home invasions. Because this program that I'm talking about, the targeted individual program, is unheard of. Nobody believes you, diddly dumb and all this. And they spray nano on you. They put nano in your water. They put it everywhere. So that when you go to the police, they are ready to take you off. And they've already decided what they're going to sell your body for the organs, at the mental hospital. Because they don't want you to have any type of life. They'll do everything they can to remove your credibility, like remove teeth, actually. And they will radiate you till your hair falls out. And the idea is to make you look bad so that you don't come across as a credible person, because people with teeth missing and hair falling out don't tend to be people you would think you could take seriously, are they? So, I can tell you that I've got a new tooth missing, and I'm not making it up. A tooth has disappeared from my mouth. How did that happen? Don't ask me, but it happened. So this is their tactics. Again, they do home invasions, and they have got full control. And they will actively harass and stalk you, follow you to shops, and mock you in front of other people in the shop about worshipping Jesus, knowing that they're the ones pointing lights at your house. They're the ones who have fiddled with your water supply. They're the ones who have added electricity supply to everything and synchronized everything to the network within your home, which is your electricity, which if you've got the plug-in extender for your routers, they can hook up if they've got any part of your electricity connected to theirs, and then they can hack your network and take it over. And then your information is then filmed and put onto the dark web. So this is another part of this business. The dark web, because they make so much money out of filming, raping and killing and torturing people and children and babies, people really love to watch it. The dark web hosts for the criminals a great, fantastic arena for all of the evil people who like to do these things to exhibit their work of evil. And so, because there is nobody that will stop them on the dark web, anybody in this industry does everything on the dark web. And if you're a targeted individual, your information is put onto the dark web. Your life becomes public knowledge on the dark web. But also, you've also become someone's paycheck, because someone's life depends on them destroying you. And that's why you hear them slamming the doors, getting really cross when they can't do certain things because you managed to switch things off. Like last night, I switched everything off and I slept really well. And I needed that. Thank God I did, because I got my sleep, because I was feeling so unwell with this, whatever they poisoned me with. And I heard someone slamming and banging a garage door nearby. And it's not just coincidence. It happens every time. And so these are people that actively feed on the despair of people. And they are targeted individuals who suffer all their lives. But I also want to tell you about the little children and the people that are bred in the deep underground military bases for the amusement and entertainment of these sick, child-eating, pedophile psychopaths. These are pedophiles. All of these are pedophiles. They're all sexually inverted. They're all trans, whatever. They're all a bit weird that way. And they're pro that as well. So this is how it all connects. And I mean, I know what I'm talking about, so I hope I've managed to relay it over to you. The reason that I don't want to be here. The reason I look at the world differently. Because I have seen what I have seen, and I can't unsee it. But I also know now that with what happens to me, if they can get to all the people around me, then I just think, wow. I actually look at normal families now. Families that are happy, with mums and dads and brothers and sisters where they're all close. And I just wonder how they do it. I wonder, why is it all the targeted individuals have no family, nobody around them? Why is it even the families that have turned against them? I'd love to know. So, if you are a targeted individual, I have a job for you. There is going to be information on the Epstein files about the gassing and about the targeting program. So what you need to do is you need to gather as much information, start doing as many videos as possible, please, to try and share it for the others like us, okay? So we can try and get this out, because this is a terrible crime. Also, If anywhere you're not feeling well, get some Epsom salt and also get some bentonite clay. And really just take care of what you're doing. I have to wear a mask in my house at night. There's certain hours that the gassing happens, and I recognize when it starts, I go, oh, gassing started. And I can also see the radiation waves. I go, yeah, the lights are on, the radiation's on, the gassing started, right, it's all going to happen now. And I want you to know that it isn't really your electricity or any of your appliances. It's the modifications they've made. All appliances are smart and clever now. So all they've had to do is make some very minor adjustments, and it's mainly through the drains and under the ground. Remember I was telling you about the deep underground military bases? That's why people can hear people crying and children screaming from under their houses. Because there's massive tunnels underneath all of the towns. That's why there's half-built houses on the hills. Like there's multi-levels. Why? Because this has all been buried. Okay, I hope this helps you. I really don't feel I've covered everything. Hopefully I have. I'm sorry, I've not been feeling well, so I just wanted to give you this to try and explain it. It's all currency, by the way, and it is all about, getting as much blood and adrenochrome from people. But also, you should know, oh yes, here we go, quick before I go. If you're a targeted individual, there's a combination of things. They are doing a loosh from you. So the idea is they come and they manipulate the currents in your bedroom. And that's why they do the home invasions. So they can work out where to do the currents along the bed. And the bed does a minor shaking. Whilst the bed is shaking, they point a light. And then they also gas you to the toilet and the pipes, the taps, and the drains. When they're doing this, then what happens is you don't really notice because you're sleeping. But when you wake up, you feel like, oh, I got a terrible sore back or bad shoulders because this stuff has done this to you. Okay. And they seem to go after people in over 50s for this kind of problem. And I can tell you, I had really bad backache on Friday night. Then I worked out it was because of this shaking bed. So I managed to get everything off, and then I managed to stop the back aching. And I just think it's criminal that they can do this. I really do. And it's horrible, it is. It's all connected with the FBI, the governments. Our governments are doing this to us. If you're listening to me, please, can we all just do something and take back England? Can we start with England? I'd be so grateful. All right. It's Ayesha from God FM. If you want to find me, you can find me on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, Samsung, Chrome, YouTube, Apple X, as well as TikTok and Telegram. As God FM News, God FM New, God FM Radio, and God FM Group. And God FM Media. You can email me, admin@godfm.org.uk. And you can WhatsApp me, +44 777 35 77788. Thank you. Take care.